Hello and welcome to the second of these videos on the ICC World T20 that's about to, the main stage is about to kick off on Tuesday. And we're looking at Group 2 today, which is the Group of Death, as many have called it. And there's good reason to do that because, hear me out, you've got India, Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan, and now Bangladesh in that group. You've got two former winners, New Zealand who've been in the semi-finals, and Australia who are always good at World Championships. So let's look at each of the teams and see who's best positioned to get out of this group into the semi-finals. So let's go ahead and look at India first. Now, India haven't had this good of a run in international T20 contests for a while. They've done really well this year. They won in Australia, they won the Asia Cup. Dhoni often complains about the lack of good bowling at the end. He seems to have found somebody in Bumrah who's giving him consistently good death overs. Ashish Nehra's kind of had a second lease of life and is looking good with the new ball. It almost appears Dhoni's checked off some of those boxes that he was worried about maybe 4 or 5 months back. Yuvraj Singh is back, although I'm not sure completely if he's proven his worth as yet. But in Hardik Pandya and Pawan Negi, Dhoni's got two options that he can play around with. Two guys at the end of the order who can tonk the ball a bit. One can ball seam up, one can ball spin. So he has a lot going in terms of combination. It also helps him that Ashwin's bowling beautifully this entire season, as well as Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma have been in good batting form, and he has Ajinkya Rahane always to cover up in case Dhawan doesn't get going. So India look good, but they've been here before in 2009 when they went to the World Cup as firm favourites and did not really do well and crashed out before going to the semi-finals. They'll be wary of that. This is a tough group to get out of, and they will want to be on the best of their game. I just think that given the familiar conditions and the fact that Dhoni loves to play in the subcontinent and uses part-time and spin bowlers to really choke the batsmen, he's just got a lot of cards in his hands, and it's going to be close. It's not going to be comfortable for India, but they do look good to get out of this group. It'll take 2 or 3 really bad games, in my opinion, for them not to get out of this group and get into the semis. Let's come to Pakistan, and Pakistan are finally coming to India after all the drama around the security and change of venue, which you always associate with India-Pakistan cricket, unfortunately, in the last few years. But the good thing is they're coming, and we'll get to see Pakistan play. They've been inconsistent, they've had their troubles. I really think there are 3 things that need to click for Pakistan if they need to get out of this group. The first is one out of either Shoaib Malik or Sarfaraz or Umar Akmal has to bat in top 3. The problems with Pakistan in batting have really been the fact that too often they're 30 for 3 or 40 for 4, and the middle order and the late middle order is just left too much to do, and you can't afford those kind of starts in T20. Given the group that they are in, given the strength of the opposition, this is not at all a forgiving format, and 1 or 2 bad games will end up being resulting in Pakistan going back home. So they've got to get the batting order right, especially at the top. What also needs to happen, interestingly, is some of their part-time spinners need to bowl well. Shoaib Malik's going to tweak the ball. They've got 2 left-armers in Imad Wasim, and Afridi is going to roll his arm over as well. But this is the first major tournament where Pakistan are coming without a genuine world-class quality spinner. And that brings me to that third point, which is very crucial. Pakistan needs Shahid Afridi to have a good World Cup. They can't afford him not to do well with the bat and be indifferent with the ball. And there are multiple reasons for it. They need his steadying bat or steadying hand of influence towards the end of the innings, tonk a few around. But they also need him to contribute with the ball in the absence of a genuine world-class spinner. I think they need the Afridi of the 2009 World Cup, a little more responsible, a little more mature, and not the version we've been seeing lately, which has been basically hit or miss. He plays 1 game out of 5 where he's scoring runs, and otherwise he's not. Those 3 things need to click together for Pakistan, otherwise it's going to be a difficult World Cup for them based on recent form. Let's look at Australia, the world champions in the one-day format, and it again, much like Pakistan, there's not a lot of depth in that bowling. Mitchell Starc's not there, which basically means they're lacking a genuine wicket taker with the ball. Competent seam bowlers, Coulton Nile, Hastings, Andrew Tye, but there's this element that they can actually end up going for runs. We've seen that when they were playing India in Australia. We saw that in South Africa as well. I think Australia are going to go into this tournament banking on the depth of their batting, the fact that they have David Warner now batting at 3 or 4. They've got Maxwell and Faulkner way down who can turn games around with their late order hitting. They're really banking on the fact that their batting is going to bail them out of tough situations. There's not a lot of depth in spin bowling. Look out for Adam Zampa. He's going to bowl his leg breakers. Did well when he played for Australia A against India A last year in the summer. But I don't necessarily see the spinners or the bowlers causing a lot of threat. And I think that's Australia's vulnerability in this World Cup, especially if the opposition ends up chasing and has a good start and the batsmen do well. Australia might just find themselves in trouble in this World Cup. There's still a lot of quality in that batting lineup, though, I think, which can still save them. All right, let's look at New Zealand. Brendan McCullum's not there, but there's still very, very good batting at the top. Kane Williamson is the consistent leader. Martin Guptill has been in awesome form. They've got Colin Munro, who's suddenly come out of nowhere, has been smashing the ball around. Corey Anderson can hit the ball as well. Grant Elliott is always consistent and reliable. So New Zealand come with a certain amount of pedigree into this World Cup. What they also have are two really competent spinners. I think they're going to tweak that combination around and make sure that Mitchell Santner, a competent batsman and a competent spinner, gets to play, as well as Ish Sodhi on pitches where they feel there's a little bit of more help for the spinners. It's a good combination for New Zealand. Question marks are just going to be around their temperament and whether some of their big guns can actually fire from a batting perspective. Make no mistake, I think they're going to be fairly competitive and a tough side to beat, purely on the basis of the fact that they've got those big hitters in their batting lineup. And the bowling has variety, which I think both Pakistan and Australia tend to lack in this group. So do look out for New Zealand. I think they might cause an upset or two in this group. I have a feeling they'll be in the hunt for the semi-finals, probably towards the end as well. And then last, not the least, is Bangladesh, who've had a very good run over the last 9 or 12 months, did well in the Asia Cup. The only thing that might hold them back is the fact that they're not playing at home, so there's not going to be that Lloyd, boisterous support behind them. But they've got the team worked out pretty fine, especially for the conditions. They've got their spinners in there, the likes of Sunny and Shakib. They've got competent fast bowlers. Thaskin's going to bowl well. Mustafizur, if he's fit, will definitely be a handful with all those slower balls. And then the batsmen have found some form. It's helped that they've played in the preliminary stages and they've qualified, which means that they're coming off fairly fresh in terms of batting and match practice and the fact that they're geared up. It's a tough group for Bangladesh, though. They're up against really high-quality teams. I don't think they'll be able to get out and make it to the semi-finals. They might make life difficult for their opposition in one or two games. I think particularly if Pakistan are not playing well or New Zealand have an off day, Bangladesh might well end up being a little handful for them. I don't see them getting out, though, but I think given the fact where Bangladesh cricket is right now, they'll give a good account of themselves in this World Cup. Right, so finally, in terms of predictions, who gets out, who doesn't? I think India have the quality to go out, given the fact they're playing at home and they've been playing well. The second spot is really going to be fairly evenly contested. I do think Australia's batting depth might just see them through. It's going to be fairly close. It'll be a bit of an upset if either Pakistan or New Zealand manage to get out. But I do think New Zealand will be fairly competitive all through the mix. So this is it for both the groups. My predictions are India and Australia go to the semi-finals from Group 2. England and South Africa make it out from the Group 1. If you agree or if you don't agree, do go ahead and comment on this video, either on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're hearing it. Would love to see feedback on this. And we would keep coming along with videos as we get closer to the semi-final stage and have more analysis of how the group stage panned out and who looks good to get out of the semi-finals and into the finals. Thank you so much for watching.